The cross-palming meta is now very rampant among eFootball players, and this front line has become a cheat code with pro players using it to exploit the game's mechanics. You might have probably come across this yourself. With the hype around Jan Koller and the emergence of cards like Lorenzo Luca and Paul Onwachu, everyone uses this way of attacking and it is very effective. But what if I told you that this cross-palming tactic is still not the best attack in eFootball? The best attacking setup in eFootball is this 2 center forwards with 1 second striker. Although the cross-palming tactic is very effective and most pro players are using it right now, this 2 center forward with 1 second striker tactics has proven to be the best way to attack in eFootball. That is why in this video I will be showing you how effective this tactic is, why many pro players trust it, and I will also show you the players that make the tactic work. But before that, let's take a look at the cross-palming tactic and why it is not the best way of attacking in eFootball. So, you play wide to your wings, cross to your tall strikers, and boom, you score. A very easy tactic. Then, why is it not the best? Because something is very easy, it doesn't mean that it is the most efficient. Cross-palming has a lot of flaws. You'll set up your team to be heavily one-sided and use a striker who in the 18-yard box is a beast, but outside of that, he is like Modric with the ball at his feet. If the opponent stops you from attacking down the wings and stops your edge crossers from crossing to your striker, your game plan is over and you won't have any other way of attacking. Aside from that, cross-palming can be nerfed very easily by Konami. If you have played this game for a long time, you'll know that crossing in eFootball 23 was very effective. Then it disappeared. It is like a switch Konami can flick on and off whenever they want to. Because of this, cross-palming is not a sustainable way of attacking. Now, back to the topic of this video. The 2 center forwards with 1 second striker attack. What makes it very effective? In one word, confusion. The 2 center forwards in this attack are positioned in such a way that they attack the space between the fullback and the center backs of the opponent. Now, this makes the opponent's center backs come out to press the strikers, which leaves a lot of space through the middle for the second striker. This makes it very difficult for the opponent's defenders to mark all 3 attackers. In situations where they try to mark the second striker and one of the 2 center forwards, the other center forward will have a huge space to attack. It is even more difficult for the opponent if he uses attacking fullbacks, because attacking fullbacks push up very high and leave the center backs all alone. It is almost always 3v2 when you attack. Now that we know how this attack works, let's look at what players you need in order to be efficient. Looking at these attacks and the players, it will be very easy for you to come to the conclusion that the reason this attack works is because all of these players are high rating booster pay-to-win cards, and all I'm saying is just rubbish. But what if I tell you that the real reason this formation works is not because of the players, whether pay-to-win or free-to-play cards, their ratings, and in fact it is not even because of their stats. The real reason this attack is deadly is because of the player skills. Sounds crazy, right? But this is the truth. There are 4 player skills that each of the 2 center forwards and the second striker must have in order for this attack to work. And these skills are double touch, one touch passing, through passing, and heel fake. Double touch is very important since you'll be attacking in tight spaces. It will help you navigate through the opponent's defense. Also, it gives you the option to perform double touch plus shoot or double touch plus pass, which will improve the accuracy of the pass and the shot. One touch passing is very essential for your players because it increases the accuracy and speed of your passes. Through passing for the attackers will help you massively in attack and in counter attacks. A very underrated skill that makes this formation works best is the heel trick. If all the 3 players are equipped with heel trick, link-up play becomes more powerful. Heel trick helps a lot because it means you don't have to turn around to make a pass. The player can make a pass even if his body positioning is off balance. The strikers can lay it off and turn to run into space. All these are skills you need if you want this attack to perform at the highest level. Another crucial thing is the second striker. The player you choose in this position determines how this attack and formation functions. For this position, it is important to have a player that can finish. However, it is not necessary to have finishing above 90, but having a player with 85 finishing is good. The second striker must be a good dribbler because he will carry the ball forward most of the time for you. The passing stats should also be good. So basically, you need an all-rounder for the second striker position. A tip I would give you is to use tall and physical players as second strikers because aside from dribbling and chance creation, they will also help you to hold up the ball when you play lofted passes into the attack. Gullit is a perfect player for this role. Another player you can use for this position is Uli Hoeneß or Dennis Bergkamp. For free-to-play players, Rafa Leão is a very good option to use in this position. For the center forwards, you obviously need to have players that are very fast and can dribble because speed is now the meta in eFootball. The best options are Mbappe, Vini Jr., Neymar, and Isak. Personally, I use Shevchenko and Rummenigge as my two center forwards. Enough of the yapping. It is time to test this attack in a division match to see how it works against top opponents. The opponent I faced off has the best defenders in his team, and with Maldini and Costa Curta as his fullbacks, it will be really difficult to find spaces. Nevertheless, this is a test to see how this attack can break the most complex defenses. I win the ball back in midfield, and right away you can see how his defenders left a lot of space in behind, and all three of my attackers were running into these spaces. Unfortunately, my Gullit was offside. Remember when I said the center forwards don't attack centrally but rather drift between center backs and the full backs? Well, this play here clearly shows how the center forwards behave and why it is so effective. When Rumi had the ball, the opponent's defenders turned to mark him, which left this small space for Shevchenko to run into. Then you see the importance of having one-touch pass and through passing on your attackers. The attack didn't end there, as I pinned my opponent back, got the ball high up and almost scored with Gullit. You can see how I avoided the crowd of defenders by using double touch. If I just shot directly, I am 99% sure my shot will get blocked. If you want to know how to use double touch like this, I have a video on that. Now, look at this pass from Shevchenko. He is facing the opposite direction but managed to find Gullit with an accurate pass. This is all possible because he has the heel trick skill. In the second half, my opponent was defending well, but I finally got my goal after winning the ball in his own half. It is the three attackers that combined beautifully for the goal. I want you to focus on Shevchenko's movement here. My opponent pushed forward with his Maldini. Sheva then moves to the space Maldini vacated, and because of that, my opponent moved his Van Dijk to press Shevchenko. Now, obviously, this is a poor defending from my opponent, but the fact is, the two center forwards sit in between the fullback and the center back. So they bait in the opponent, which leaves space for the other attacker. In this case, it was Rumi who had the space and I scored. I got another chance from a corner, but this time around it was my right back who scored after dribbling the opponent. I almost scored a third goal. Again, this time the trio combining. Again here, after a great link-up play, I got a 1v1, but he has Petr Cech in goal, so it's very hard to score, even though I should have done better. But what you learn from this play are the passing skills. Through passing, one-touch passing and heel trick all playing a part in ripping through the opponent's defense. The match ended in a win for me, and you can see how effective this attack is and why many pro players use it a lot. In my last video, when I asked you guys which playstyle you want to see me discuss the player progressions and player training for, a lot of you mentioned quick counter. So that will be my next video. But before then, make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.